Hi, I'm Justin Jensen, and welcome to my channel. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, sweat, and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and may fall again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. Teddy Roosevelt. Hello, my lovely people. How is everyone doing today? I hope you are well. It's good to see everyone. Um, so, we're going to be talking about the Lori Vallow Chad Daybell case today. But when you think this case can't get any more twisted, or you think something else can't happen, something else happens. Put a 1 in the chat if you know about the Daybell, Lori Daybell case. Let me know. Please and thank you. One. Put a 2 if you don't. I should have said that off the bat. 2 if you don't. One, yes, murdering cannibals. Hey, stars and stripes. 0.5. I like that one too. Okay, so 1/2. Okay. Well, I'll tell you about it. It is a very, very twisted case. I'm just going to tell you. So this case has been going on almost 3 years now. Now, Marissa, Molly Golightly, and I will be going to the trial. It is in Rexburg, Idaho, and it is to take place this January, so January 2023. It's a case like I've never seen in my entire life. And but yeah, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to try my best to explain this, and even still, I would suggest doing a lot of research on this if you so choose, but I will do my absolute best to explain it. So for those of you that do know what is going on in the Lori Daybell case, yeah, I think they moved it to Boise. They ended up moving it to Boise. So Lori Daybell, she had 2 biological children.
Right here in America. And Judge Janine
Hold on.
is giving you a VIP tour on
So
season
sorry.
4 of Castles USA.
So Lori Daybell, she had 2 biological kids, 1 adopted kid. Her oldest I know it's gonna be so hard to explain. Like I can't even. I'm gonna try. There's a timeline and stuff, and we'll go over it. It's very complicated. But Lori Daybell, she has two biological kids, and she took in adopted a kid of her second husband, Charles. Charles's sister or cousin or something to that effect. Anyway, one of her husband's family members had a child. They adopted him. So they had 3 kids in the house total. Well, 2 kids in the house total, and one was an adult. Now, the one we're talking about today his name is Ryan. Now, Ryan, he's always seemed like a really good young man. He has a YouTube channel. I have talked to him through YouTube, and when this news broke yesterday, I saw it. I was gobsmacked, as the British like to say it. But she wouldn't give the child her bio grandparents. Yes. No, the grandparents, Stars and Stripes, the grandparents, the Woodcocks, they had JJ for quite a while, but they were getting, they were older, and they just didn't have the energy, and they thought it would be better for him to go to a younger couple's home. So Ryan was busted doing some really bad stuff, and we're going to talk about it. Why did that just do that? Okay. Let me pull it up. We'll talk about Ryan first, and then we'll go over the case, because I know that is what is on the title. So this is the oldest son. He is an adult, and he is now the only one out of all of Lori's children that is alive. And that is because he was an adult, and he wasn't, in my opinion, he wasn't murdered by his mother. Now, why am I calling him Ryan? It's Colby. For God's sakes, it's Colby. His last name is Ryan. I don't know why I keep calling him Ryan. Colby, Justin. Okay. Why do I got Ryan stuck in my head? Okay, well, I know why I probably got Ryan stuck in my head. It's a whole nother subject. Son of Lori Vallow, the Idaho mom accused of killing her 2 of her children, is charged with SA. 26 years old. He lives in Mesa, Arizona, after his estranged wife accused him of the R word, at her home. Now, the last time I spoke with Colby, he had his YouTube channel. I believe he was just having a baby, and him and his wife seemed really happy. They were out like jogging all the time, and I thought they were really trying to make a good life for themselves. And things have just clearly went south. Here, we'll play this real quick before we...
Charged with murdering her two children, Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell, in court by Zoom today, nearly 2 years after 7-year-old Joshua Vallow and 16-year-old Colby Ryan disappeared. NBC Digital breaking news reporter Alicia Fieldstadt joins us now. Alicia, these charges coming almost a year after the children's remains were found on Daybell's property. What can you tell us here? Why now?
Okay. I thought this was about Ryan, but it's clearly not, so I don't want it to confuse anyone, but I'll go ahead and play it.
Hi, Allison. Thanks for having me. That's a great question. Prosecutors said yesterday that they were only recently allowed to convene a grand jury due to COVID-19 restrictions in the courts. So this has been a lengthy process. Tylee and Joshua, or JJ, as he was known, were last seen.
Now, as we were talking about Colby just a moment ago, the oldest son, this is the mother, Colby's mother. This is Colby's siblings. Now they are younger. JJ, the little boy, he was adopted, and Kylie, not Kylie, oh my God, Riley. I'm really great with names, guys, promise. That is such a sarcastic thing. I'm really horrible with names. Tylee and JJ were unfortunately murdered, in my opinion, by the mother and by the man she was having an affair with. And we'll get into that. Sadly, very sadly murdered. And they are not the only ones. There is bodies that are piling up in this case. 2, 4, 5. I mean, there's as many as 6. As many as 6 bodies. I actually know a lot about this case. But I'm just not good with names. I've followed this case since literally the beginning. Thank you, Liplock. I appreciate it.
Alive at different points of September 2019. JJ, who was adopted by Vallow and had special needs, was living at his Idaho school. His grandparents asked police to check on him in late November after he had been missing for more than 2 months. Police got different stories from different people, but Vallow's late brother notably strangely told police that JJ was with his grandparents, the very ones who had reported him missing. So the next month, Vallow and Daybell fled to Hawaii, where authorities eventually caught up with them and charged Vallow with desertion of her children. They arrested her then. Daybell was detained a year after last year after the bodies of the children were found on his property.
So, Alicia, Chad Daybell was also charged with first-degree murder in the death of his former wife, Tammy Daybell. What do you know about her murder?
So Tammy Daybell was a school librarian. She died in October of 2019, just weeks before Daybell and Vallow were married. Her obit said she died in her sleep of natural causes, but her body was exhumed in December of last year as part of this longer investigation. And yesterday's indictments revealed that the autopsy determined her death was in fact a homicide.
So I would, Georgia, this is Tammy Daybell, okay? I want you to know this is Tammy Daybell for you, honey.
Investigators say that the couple may have studied Doomsday religious beliefs. What can you tell us there?
So Chad Daybell has authored more than 24 books about near-death and doomsday events, and multiple people close to Vallow, including her ex-husband, have raised alarms about her doomsday beliefs over the years. In the indictments released yesterday, prosecutors said that the couple, quote, did endorse and espouse religious beliefs for the purpose of encouraging and or justifying the homicides of Tylee, JJ, and Tammy. One notable specific detail that they gave in those indictments said that Daybell and Vallow had exchanged text messages saying that they believed that Tammy was in limbo, quote, and possessed by a spirit named Viola.
It's quite a story indeed. Alicia Fieldstad, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
The photograph Special Agent Joe Montgomery has of...
So the Lori was raised LDS, and I guess Chad, her new husband, was raised LDS too, but he was an author of books, but there was a problem between the two. They were both married, and this wasn't Lori's first marriage, second marriage. She was on her third marriage, and then her new husband, after they murdered everyone pretty much around them, they got married. The two children, Tylee and JJ, went missing, and it was a big, big fiasco. It was all over the news, and cameras were following Lori everywhere, but she would not, absolutely not, tell where Tylee and JJ were. So the police finally told them that they needed to produce the kids or she was going to jail. The only problem is they had skipped town and they were found in Hawaii, where they had been for a couple months. They were living their best life, doing living the Hawaiian dream, going to their LDS church in Oahu. Living their best life. And finally, a great reporter named Nick Eaton, I believe his name is, with East Idaho News, tracked them down, and I think Dateline or 48 Hours did as well. And they wouldn't answer. They would say, "Where is your kids? Where is your kids?" And she would say, "No comment." And the thing about Lori Vallow is she tried out to be like Miss America. Yeah, Nate. Okay. And she was a very, beautiful woman. She always keeps this smile on her face. The world can be burning down, right? And she would just say, no comment, no comment. So finally, they arrested her in Hawaii. They sent her back to Idaho. And they literally put her in jail until she would either tell where the kids are, that they were safe, because she told them that they were at one of her friends in Arizona, And then the friend said, they're not with me. And then she's like, oh no, they're with JJ's grandparents in are they from Mississippi or Louisiana? Something like that. I think it's maybe Louisiana. And there was a problem with that. She said that they were with their grandparents because the grandparents was the ones who originally reported the kids missing because Lori was acting very crazy. Because before Lori got married to her new husband, she had a husband named Charles. And before all of this took place that I just mentioned, there's more body counts. One day, Lori's brother is visiting from Arizona, and they had just moved into a new house. And Lori and Kylie and JJ, Lori says she's going to drop them off at school. Well, Alex, Lori's brother, and Lori's husband at the time, Charles, are at home alone, and they allegedly get in a fight. And Alex, Lori's brother, says that Charles hit him with a bat and that he shot Lori's husband in self-defense. And there is video coverage of this, lots of video coverage of this. There is the police cams, and you can see him just sitting out very calmly, pretending like he's got this mark on the back of his head. Meanwhile, while his brother-in-law is literally in the floor of their brand new house that they haven't lived 2 weeks in, dead. So they take Alex in for questioning, and it's never deemed suspicious or anything. But once Lori's deceased husband dies, and then 2 children go missing, things start to, people start talking. Now, Lori's husband that we were talking about in Hawaii, he also was married, like I told you. His wife name was Tammy Daybell, and they had 5 kids together. 5 kids. All older. They weren't, like teenagers. And while they were married, Tammy is in the driveway one day bringing out her groceries, and a guy comes up and starts trying to shoot her with what she thinks is paintball guns at the time. And she wrote on her Facebook later that evening that, guys, be careful. There was this guy that came up to me and tried to shoot me with a paintball gun, but the thing about it was not a paintball gun. It was a real gun. So a couple weeks later, she dies as peacefully in her sleep, as Chad would say. Now, he says that he doesn't want an autopsy, that she had been sick for a long time. But the problem with that is she was getting ready to run a marathon in a couple weeks. So they quickly bury her. Exactly, Diane, that's true. They quickly buried her, and so now this is when Lori and Chad, they have their mission complete, because Chad's wife dies peacefully in her sleep. Lori's husband died because her brother and her husband got in a fight, and it was self-defense, and now her kids are missing. So that's two that we know is dead, and then we have the kids. Well, the kids, Lori never tells where the kids are. She just sits in jail. But the Rexburg police and the FBI and everyone is involved. And one day, they find where Lori's brother, the one who killed his brother-in-law, let me show you. They check a ping on his phone. You know, they're doing an investigation because they kind of know, obviously, something is up by now. You're not telling them where the kids are or anything. Where the fuck is it? Here it is. Okay. Trigger warning. So this is the backyard of where they found some pings, the pings of Alex, Lori's sister, Lori's brother. God. So the FBI come in one day and they have a search warrant. First, they have a search warrant in the winter, and they're out there with metal detectors and all that stuff, and they don't really find anything. But then they wait till spring. It snows a lot in Idaho, so they wait, and they show up and they're searching around the backyard. Now remember, Lori's still in jail. Now, her husband, her new husband, Chad, he is not in jail because he hasn't been charged with anything yet. And this is Chad's property. And they go back there digging, and they find the remains of Tylee and JJ. They find remains in like a fire pit. And they find remains in the very back part of the yard, kind of where a pond was. And this is the exact areas that they find them. So while Lori and Chad was living it up in Hawaii, while both of their spouses, their previous spouses, are dead, intentionally dead, she also has Alex. He's like the fixer of the family. He has this weird obsession with Lori, even though it's his sister. Still this weird obsession to please her. And they kind of talked inappropriate to each other as well. So they find out that Alex, the one who murdered Lori's husband, the widowed husband, a widower, well, he's not a widower, he's dead. He also kills his niece and nephew. But after he kills the father-in-law, or sorry, not the father-in-law, after he kills his brother-in-law and he kills his niece and nephew, and he also has something to do with Chad's wife that died, after he takes out 4 bodies, the hitman, exactly. After he takes out 4 bodies, they don't need him anymore, do they? She doesn't need her brother anymore. She's got everything she wants. She don't want anybody to talk. So randomly, out of nowhere, one day a 911 call comes in, and Alex dies. Lori's brother, the one who allegedly killed Tammy, Charles, JJ, Tylee. And some think even Lori's second husband. Alex passed away too, yes. So everyone around them is pretty much dead. But why are they doing this? That's the question. Why are they doing this? Well, it boils down to a little thing called perverting religion. They are a wild, out there case of LDS, which nobody, the LDS, regular LDS, I don't think subscribe to what Chad and Lori subscribe to. But Chad, her new dashing husband, as she likes to say, is also an author, and that is how they met each other. And he says that he has lived 1,000 lives and that he can teleport and that the end is coming. The Doomsday couple is what they're called. The Doomsday cult. He has very successful books. He had them on Amazon, and he was a great in my opinion, fairy tale author. And then after they find Tylee and JJ on his property, he's arrested. So that's pretty much like an overview on Tylee, JJ, Charles, Tammy, Lori, Chad, Alex, all of them. Now, Lori has one child still, and that is Alex, the oldest one, the adult. Oh, and Brandon, yes, and Brandon. So, sorry, I'm reading your comments. I'm getting sidetracked. So Lori has one child, and his name is Colby. And Colby is the one we were talking about today. After all of this, all of these bodies, these two children that have passed egregiously. I'm not even going into how they died, what happened, or anything, because I will literally be here till this time tomorrow explaining it. Just an overview. This is Lori's husband. Shit, what the fuck is wrong with me this evening? Sorry. Really tired. This is Lori's son, Colby. And he was charged with SA yesterday. And he was always he always seemed like a good young adult. But he, I guess his marriage went south, which to be 26 years old, your father is dead, your mother is in prison for murdering your siblings and your stepdad and potentially even your birth dad, and then marries a guy who has, it's in a cult. I'm not sure most 26-year-old marriages could stand up, although there's no excuse in what he did. That is for sure. Thank you, man. So this is the story of Ryan. See, I said it again. That's his last name. That's why I call him that, Ryan. Colby. I think I should have done a live today. Murder suspect Lori Vallow, only surviving son Colby Ryan, has been charged with SA in Arizona after a female victim accused the 26-year-old of R-ing her. He is being held on $10,000 bail. Arizona officials filed 2 counts of SA against Ryan for allegedly forcing his wife to have sex after she repeatedly said no, court documents show. He was released on bail Tuesday following his initial court appearance. Let's see here. His wife initially reported the assault 2 days after it occurred. The married couple had been separated and were living in separate areas for about a month when the alleged assault happened, according to the police report. Ryan and his wife were watching TV where they began to have, quote, consensual romantic contact until Ryan's wife decided she did not want to go any further. She reportedly said, "Stop. This isn't a good idea, and I don't want to do this." But Ryan allegedly continued, according to police. Ryan's wife then locked herself in her bedroom while Ryan slept on the couch for the remainder of the evening. The next morning, Ryan's wife apparently recorded a conversation between herself and Ryan in which her husband agreed that he are her. The victim admitting that he continued the SA until he finished. I'll just say that. Even after she told him to stop, the police report states. The recording and the victim's shorts have been submitted as evidence in the case. Ryan made headlines recently after appearing in a Netflix trailer for an upcoming documentary series about his mother, who was accused of murdering her two younger children in 2019, collecting Social Security benefits in the name after their deaths. Are you sorry for me, or are you sorry for my siblings? Ryan can be heard saying to his mother on the phone call in a trailer for the upcoming series titled Sins of Our Mother. I really want to watch that. I would have never thought you would have done something like this, he says. The so-called cult mom and her husband were indicted in late May 2021 on multiple counts, each of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft by deception, first-degree murder, and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder related to the deaths of Vallow's children, 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow and 17-year-old Tylee Ryan, and Daybell's ex-wife, 49-year-old Tammy Daybell, officials announced at the time. The pair is at the center of a tangled case that involved a bizarre apocalyptic religious belief that prosecutors claims the couple designed to justify the murders. The children were missing for several months when police say the couple lied about the children's whereabouts and then slipped away to Hawaii before their bodies were found buried on Daybell's property in rural Idaho. Quote, "My mom has spent her whole life protecting us kids," Ryan says in the trailer. And this is smiley, crazy Lori freaking Vallow Daybell. She drives me insane, guys. Like, this story drives me nuts. It drives me nuts, this story. Always smiling. Let me tell you something. She's not as pretty as she once was. That's for damn sure. Without the Botox and everything, which that's not what makes a human. I'm not saying that. But how could anyone be smiling after her husband was married? Her children were married. Her children were buried in the backyard. And she had them murdered. And then she had her husband murdered, and then her new husband had his wife murdered, and she murdered her brother too. Maybe not directly, but indirectly. The series, direct by Abducted in Plain Sight and Girl in the Picture, is set to release on September 14th. Let me tell you guys something. You want to talk about a case? This case in January is going to be probably one of the biggest cases since probably one of the biggest cases of the decade, I would say, by far. Probably this and Johnny Depp will be like the two biggest cases, in my opinion. It's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. I mean, it's going to be huge. I mean, you love my wig? I don't got a wig on today. Look. Hold on. See my wig? I don't got a wig on. That's just my hair. Do you mean my wig that I made, that I was wearing before? But it's certainly going to be. Look at that shit. Look at that face. So guys, they are seeking the death penalty for these two lovebirds. And I certainly can raise my hand and say, I hope they get it. And I hope they can be in the same freaking room at the same time when they euthanize them, so they can look in each other's eyes before they go to hell. Because what those kids went through for their selfishness, they didn't have to murder their kids, her kids. They didn't have to murder their spouses to be together. It's never, ever worth it. Ever. You just say, listen, it's not working out. Let's get a divorce. Because, trust me, Lori said she didn't want the kids. Charles would have taken the kids. Kate, isn't it? Yeah, would have taken the kids. The Woodcocks. So what is your thoughts on Colby? I know they're trying to close it to the media. I don't think it's going to happen. I do not think that this for 1 minute is going to be closed off to the media. Charles was a wonderful guy. Here, let me see here. I mean, let me see if I can find a video of Alex Fox. Here's the body camera.
We are getting some new
Shit. Here's the body camera of the day that he killed, Lori's brother killed his brother-in-law. That would be brother-in-law, right?
insight today into the day that Lori Vallow's brother, Alex Cox, died. The Gilbert, Arizona Police Department released new body camera footage from that day. Our Shira
This new
Here, please.
newly released body camera footage from the day Alex Cox died, shedding new light on what happened. That's the voice presumed to be of Alex's wife, Zulema, on December 12th, 2019. The rest of what she says is then drowned out. Gilbert police blurred out this video, and while you can't see much, we are able to hear some of what was said among those who were on scene that day.
I don't know. That's what Mike is probably one of our best paramedics.
She was blue when I walked in.
What's that?
She was blue when I walked in, and so I started doing compression.
Okay, this was the day Alex died. I correct myself. This is the video of the day Alex died. So whenever Alex had killed everybody that Lori wanted him to, allegedly, goes to the bathroom and ends up foam coming out of his mouth and whatever, and he's dead. And the lady speaking is his fiance. Her name is Zulema.
He was blue on the face.
In the clips, you later hear Zulema's son tell officers he found Alex lying on the bathroom floor. This is a conversation between Zulema and one of the officers on scene after paramedics took Alex to the hospital, where he was later pronounced dead.
I'm just wondering, is it possible for you guys to wait outside? My kids are already going through enough trauma as it is without you guys standing right next to them.
So we're definitely not trying to make things worse, ma'am. We're not trying to have anybody feel bad or be anxious, but someone died in your house today, and we're not going to leave your house until we finish that investigation. So
let me ask you this. So why are you saying that someone died in the house when he wasn't even pronounced dead until he was in the hospital?
well, the incident started here. I get that he was pronounced deceased at the hospital, but all of that started here. It didn't start in the hospital. It started in this house.
In one of the clips released, you can also hear first responders doing chest compressions on Alex.
I was hoping that they would let me say goodbye to him because they took me away from the detective took me out of the room.
More insight into an already complicated and convoluted case. And Alex's death came just 2 months after JJ and Tylee went missing. Their remains were later found on the property of Lori Vallow's husband, Chad Daybell. And we know this case is very complicated. So just as a reminder, the death investigation into Alex's death is closed. However, investigations are still underway into the death of Lori's fourth husband, Charles Vallow, as we mentioned, as well as Chad Daybell's late wife, Tammy Daybell, and of course, the death of JJ and Tylee. Again, Lori and Chad have not been charged with their murder, but they are facing charges in connection with their disappearance, and a trial is scheduled for July. Mark?
That's the next chapter. All right, Shira Matsuzawa reporting for us tonight. Shira.
So that is
Joshua J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan reported missing.
Tonight, a nationwide search for two missing children. Their mother.
sorry about that. Yeah, it's craziness, absolute craziness. They were a religious cult, that is for sure. And the letters that he would write Lori, how do we know? I mean, we don't know that Lori directly killed Alex. I think there's still, I know they did an autopsy on him. And I do know that they are now charging for the death of Tammy after they exhumed her body. Zaluma is lucky. See, I wondered Alex had her on a tarp and given her a date rape job. Well, she has talked about things that Alex had done. And Alex, ironically, wanted to be a stand-up comedian. And there's actual video of him being a comedian. Yes, they have. Hold on, we'll find it. Tammy Daybell. I just got her autopsy results. I thought they had already came back, haven't they? Just make sure. Lori Vallow case, Tammy Daybell's autopsy has been finished, and this was February of 2021. Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow got married weeks after Tammy Daybell. It was like 2 weeks after his wife, his first wife, Tammy, died peacefully in her sleep when she, according to Chad, had been sick, even though she was training to run literally a marathon. They married 2 weeks after the funeral. Now, Chad they didn't kill his 5 kids. They were older. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not. But all of his kids are living, and they are, the last that I have heard at least, they are done nothing but literally take up for their father. But once all the evidence comes out in court and they see this ironclad case that they have against Chad and Lori Daybell, they may change their mind. I have a lot of sympathy for his kids because they've lost their mother, they've essentially lost their father, and they've lost everything that they've ever known. But sadly, Lori extinguished everyone in her family other than one child. She extinguished the 2 younger ones, JJ and Tylee, and her husband. The results will not be made public at this time, as it is in evidence and is opening ongoing investigation. So it hasn't been released, but Chad Daybell originally told police that Tammy Daybell had died in her sleep after she went to sleep with a cough. She had been reportedly in good health at the time and had been training for some sort of race. Yes, she was actually training for a marathon. The death was one of the 3 deaths under investigation in connection to the Vallow's Charles Daybell case. Chad Daybell case. Chad Daybell got married to Lori Vallow 2 weeks after Tammy Daybell's death. Tammy and Chad had been married. They'd been married 30 years. 30 years. Chad Daybell reportedly received $430,000 in life insurance after Tammy Daybell died. So Chad and Lori Daybell are accused of 2 felony counts of conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence. Chad Daybell is also facing felony charges of concealment or destructive of evidence. And they are being charged, obviously, with capital murder. And if there's any 2 that I've ever seen that deserves it, in my opinion, it's them. It is them. I actually have 2 decals that I made for the back of my car. It says in memory of Tylee and JJ. To see Lori's face when she speaks of Kylie, how she looks up, and I know. See, it's the grin. Man, it's the grin. She's smiling through it. And look at this. Look at this. Oh my God, it infuriates me, guys. This grin infuriates me. It infuriates me because she knows right there, this was literally maybe 3-4 weeks ago. This photo was taken. You're smiling. You're on death row, sweetheart. For murdering your children. She was in a Miss America. I think it was Miss America pageant. This isn't it. Look at this. You know, a beautiful woman. Come on, Molly. Get up here. Let's talk about it. Because Marissa and I are not missing this trial. Like, listen. I have told my husband, I have told everyone, count me out in January because I will, like, y'all want to go with me? We'll get an Airbnb. But I am not missing this trial, and I am not missing Serenity's. Marissa, come on up. You know, beautiful. I mean, she was just beautiful, but she had done several different pageants. This is her at her first court date, right? This is her when she was younger. And then this was her like a year and a half later. Yes, trial is in Idaho. It's only skin deep, absolutely. Hold on. Is Marissa still in here? Text her. She has lost a ton of weight. I don't know if she's lost. I mean, I think she's kind of, yeah, I mean, she certainly drank the Kool-Aid. She certainly drank the Kool-Aid. And little JJ, he was special needs. And he lost, he had a, what's it called? The dog, a special needs dog. A service dog. And she got rid of that dog. And like, it costs like $20,000 to train that dog. Do you think the parents will be there? I don't think they will be. They never attended any of her weddings either. Now, I do believe Lori's mother will be there, and I believe Lori's sister will be there. If you've never seen Lori's mother, think of I don't know, like Tammy Faye Baker kind of. Lori Day. Marissa, show your face. Marissa, show your face. It's not working. Hold on. 1 second. Let me make sure this is her. Damn it. Hold on.
On the toilet.
Oh, okay. I can't hear you. Okay, you want to, are you, let's just keep this disclaimer up then for a reason. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay. Can I do this in peace?
Absolutely not.
You're always rushing me and telling me to do things that I don't want to do.
You're cracking me up. Okay, I'll put you on mute. Hope things come out okay.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my God. Okay, let me throw this thing down now. Well, I wasn't expecting that. Oh my God. I think she will. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what to say with her. So, yeah. let's see here. Lori, or hold on. Alex Cox. How's going on here? More details on the test results of Alex Cox silver Ford F-150. Oh, heavily redacted. So the night that Alex murdered the two children, Tylee and JJ. I don't know why I'm saying names so ass backwards today. I'm really tired. Like I literally slept 3 hours last night. So that could probably be it. And I worked all day. But he was in his truck and they pinged his phone. So they are doing testing, obviously in his truck, but it's so heavily redacted. There's not really. It says during the course of the investigation, it was learned Alex Cox married Zulema past something on 11/29/19 and has since been residing at her residence at redacted East Mineral Road in Gilbert. The Ford F-150 has been observed at the residence and known to be in Arizona since that approximate time. On 12/12/19, Alex Cox died in the residence and the vehicle remained in custody of Zulema until 12/21/19. On 12/21/19, the vehicle was seized at the residence. One second, guys. Okay. Where was I? On 12/19, the vehicle was seized from the residence pursuant to a search warrant and was impounded at the Gilbert Police Department and Evidence Building. Okay, well, that's not too much. Yes. Totally. This is Alex Cox for those who have never seen him. This is Lori's brother, the one who wanted to be a comedian. He died. Charles Vallow died July 11, 2019. JJ and Tylee not seen since September 2019. Tammy Daybell died October 2019. Body exhumed of Tammy Daybell December 2019. Lori and Chad Daybell married 2 weeks later. Alex found unresponsive, dead, December 12th, 2019. Now, I don't know of anybody that, just God, losing that many people, young people, none of them were over, 45, 50? None of them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, JJ is adopted. Oh, thank you, Cinnamon. Let's see here. I think he is just one of the most evil men I've ever seen in my entire life. Damn music, you can't do anything. That's Tammy. That is the wife of Chad, who died. Now, this wasn't taken, too long prior to her passing, right? Does she look sick to you? She doesn't look sick to me. A wife, we know where she is, dead. Just went to sleep and never woke up. This is Charles. This was Lori's husband. Shot by his brother-in-law in self-defense, apparently. This is Alex. We know where he is. Hell. Now, this is Lori and Chad Daybell, for those of you that didn't know much about the case. When they're in Hawaii and that reporter is asking them, where are your children? Where are your children? What do they say? We don't know. They kept pretending that they were, getting him ready for the end of times. And ironically, they thought they were part of the 144,000, which is some kind of cult thingy that they thought they were going to be a part of. Alex Cox. Why is it? Okay, what's this? What is that? Supplement notes. Was worried about him and asked him how he was feeling. He said he was fine and was feeling better. Zulema left for work later that day. Alex had a friend, redacted, give him a blessing over the phone. Redacted then texted Zulema and told her Alex was not doing well and she should leave work and go home. She called Alex, texted, and he was having a hard time trying to talk to her. She told him she would drop off her client and then come right home. She said she was in the area of Higley and Baseline and was not far from home. She then called her son, who was at the home with Alex. She told him to go to her room and check on Alex. He stayed on the phone and checked on Alex. He could hear her son telling Alex to stay on the floor and not room to check on Alex. He said he stayed on the phone and checked on Alex. He said he could hear her son telling Alex to stay on the floor and not to try to get him up. Zulema told her son to call 911. She arrived home and her son met her at the door and told her it was really bad. Zulema ran upstairs and found Alex on the master bathroom floor. He was lying on the right side and his face was blue. He had lost control of, I can already tell you, his bowel movements because I remember somebody saying that, which is common anyways. But she tried to get him on his back and her son was relaying information from 911. Zulema got him on his back and began chest compressions. Paramedics arrived and eventually transported to the hospital. At the hospital, they had done everything they could to revive Alex, but he was pronounced dead. Zulema said she was never aware of Alex having any medical issues. He always seemed healthy. He did not consume alcohol or drugs. She said she did not know any medical history, Alex, and she did not know anything about his family history. Alex was a truck driver who traveled a lot. He recently wanted to take some time off and move to Idaho and a few months ago, he had a niece and some friends there. Well, isn't that interesting? Why did he want to go there for a while? To murder people? Sounds like it to me. The day before Thanksgiving, Alex arrived at Zulema's house in Gilbert to spend the holidays. Zulema asked him to stay with her and not go back to Idaho. She convinced him he could stay with her and they could get rid of his apartment in Idaho. Excuse me one second. He was thinking about going back to work for a former employer where he could work locally instead of driving so much around the country. Alex had not worked for a couple of months, but he had some money saved up. A couple of weeks ago, they took a trip to Las Vegas. While they were in Vegas, they decided to get married though it was not planned. And she referred to it as spur of the moment, and they eloped. I clarified with Zulema, Alex was gone to Alga something, Mexico to get the prescription. She said she had gone there before. I can't even see with my damn glasses right now. For prescriptions and told her about it. She had him get some medicine because it was cheaper. There's a lot redacted there. I clarified some time frames with Zulema for the event of 12/12. She said she left the work at about 8:50 in the morning. She also texted Alex about 12:58 and asked him if he to make a holiday basket for her. Alex responded, sure. She texted him at 15:02 hours to ask him how he was doing, and he did not respond. So between 8:50 and 12:58. So 10, 11. So like 4 hours, he was fine. And then 4 hours later, he wasn't responding. I mean, to me, that sounds suspicious. You're not going to say, hey, let me just, yes, Charles was a very good man. But, 4 hours prior, he was fine. Sure, I'll make you a basket. And then 4 hours later, he's not answering. Marissa? Marissa? Are you okay too? Okay. Oh, their mic isn't.
I'm here, I'm listening.
All right, are you almost done? I heard they didn't believe in taking meds. Oh, she fell off. Kimberly is the most. It really is. This case is so crazy. Like, I don't even know. I'm sorry, honey. I'll ask them what's going on. It may have been an accident. Sometimes it does happen. I did that in someone's room. I think it was yesterday. I accidentally blocked somebody with someone. Banditos, we can check it out. It's no problem, honey. It was probably an accident. I apologize. No matter how you slice it to the pot, these two are guilty. Yeah. I think Chad was going to be Lori's next victim in another life. Well, the funny thing is, not funny, but Charles kind of felt like something was coming on, that the marriage was breaking up, and he took Lori out of the will. So she was not happy about that. She was not happy about that. Okay, guys, I'm at an hour and a half. I'm going to jump off of here. I may be on around maybe 9 to 10 o'clock on my other channel. So if you want to see me over there, we can chop it up over there. I've got to sleep tonight. Lip lock, honey. It happens. It happens. It's, any of us mods know that, especially if you're on a phone, it's very, very easy to do it. And it's nothing that is personal toward anyone. So, Tara, I was going to talk about my Patreon this evening, but they haven't approved it yet. I'm waiting for their email for approval. I didn't know I had to wait. I just thought when I clicked launch, it was going to launch, but apparently that's not true. So I will be having a Patreon in the next couple days, and we'll talk about it. So maybe you can join me later over at Clutch Them Pearls. Love you all. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for your patience with me this evening as I butchered everyone's name. Thank you. Love you all. God bless. Good night.